So, the encounter everyone has been talking about recently is Verity, and for good reason. This is probably the hardest encounter mechanically that there's ever been, and one of the main reasons that only one team cleared this raid in the first 24 hours. Here are some timestamps if you want to revisit a specific role, or just skip to the parts you want to know. Feel free also to pause or replay any parts of this video that you wish. First, I want to mention that because of a later mechanic, all players in the fire team should have a unique and recognizable ghost shell and armor piece or pieces to differentiate between players. So as soon as the encounter starts, by interacting with one of the 3 statues up front, 3 players will be teleported at random into their own solo version of the front half of the room, almost like the Nightmare Realm in a Duality dungeon. One of these teleported players should jump up and call out or type what 2-dimensional shapes the 3 statues are holding from left to right. These shapes will be one of each, square, circle, and triangle, in a random order each phase. This is for the benefit of the outside players, so don't worry about the outside for now, as your ultimate goal as an inside player is to escape through the glass wall behind you by combining 2 2D shapes to create a 3D shape. Fortunately, there are only 3 simple steps to achieve this as an inside player. Step 1. Find which of the 3 Guardian statues is the one with you on it, and take a look at what 2D shape you are holding. Now take a look at the flat wall in front of you, and you should be able to see 2 shadow shapes flashing, one to the other over and over. If the shape on the wall is not changing between 2 different shapes, but is instead just showing your own shape and a sort of jagged version of it, then you are already done for step 1. If not, you want to kill the 2 knights in your room, which drop the 2D shapes your wall is showing you, and pick up the shape that your Guardian statue is not holding. If you are holding a circle, and the wall is flashing between circle and square, kill knights, pick up the square, and dunk it on the Guardian statue who is holding the square. You will know you've done this correctly, because you should have your own shape only on the wall changing into a jagged version of itself and back. This just means that you have 2 of your own shape, as that's all the wall's job is, to show you what shapes will drop when you kill the knights. Step 2. Kill your ogre if needed to spawn more knights and kill both of them again. Because the wall says you have 2 of your own shape, they should both drop your shape. Pick them up one at a time and dunk them on the other 2 Guardian statues that are not your own. Remember to never pick up more than 1 symbol at a time, or they will combine. You will know you've done this correctly when the wall is now flashing the 2 other shapes to your Guardian statue's shape. Step 3. Kill both of the knights again. This time you will want to pick up both of the symbols together and combine them, making them into a 3D shape comprised of the 2 shapes your statue is not holding. In this case I was holding a circle, so I'm picking up a triangle and a square. You can then exit once the outside people have done their job also. This is a lot of information, but it can help to know why you're doing this, especially for the outside explanation. But to recap, someone calls out the left, middle and right statue shapes. You find your own statue and see what shape you have. Look at the wall and see if it is showing you already have two of your own shape, or only one plus a different one. If it's a different one, kill knights to find and pick up that other shape and dunk it on the guardian statue holding that shape. Then kill both knights again and pick up and dunk your own shape on the other two guardian statues that are not your own, one by one, so as to not combine them. Finally, kill both knights again, and this time pick up both of the shapes to combine them and exit. An example we have here are the shapes triangle, square, and circle from left to right. Let's say you are the square player in the center. If your wall is displaying your own symbol twice, then you're ready for step 2 once the other two players have done their step 1. If not, and it's showing you, say in this case, a square and a circle, this means you will kill the knights for a circle and give it to the circle player on the right. Meanwhile, the circle player will probably have a circle and a square flashing on their wall, so they are going to give their square to you. So really, you are just swapping shapes with each other. Then for step 2, where you are giving your own two shapes one at a time to the other two players, we can see that all three of you are doing this in your own separate rooms. So you are essentially giving everyone exactly what they need. You are all giving both of your shapes away, so you now have 0 of your own shape, and you're receiving one of each other shape. So now the triangle player has a square from you and a circle from the circle player. You have a triangle and circle, and the circle player has a square, again from you, and a triangle. Now you can all combine your 2D shapes in your own separate rooms and exit. During this time, after around 6 dunks total, or 2 dunks for each of the 3 solo players, the witness will notice your efforts and fake kill the 3 of you. During this fake death screen, you should spectate a player who's alive. The 3 alive players should each pick up one of your ghosts, taking note of who they picked up by their ghost shell's appearance, and head to the spawn area to save the guardians in the correct pedestals. The alive players cannot see the guardians' positions in order to place the ghosts, but the fake dead players spectating them can each see one guardian that isn't their own on a pedestal. We numbered them 1 to 6, and whoever picked up that guardian's ghost will dunk it at the correct pedestal that the fake dead players will call out to save that player so they can continue doing their 3-step process inside. This mechanic is just one of those annoyance mechanics to waste time. This will also happen again at the end of each phase once the inside players have exited and a few ads have been cleared, with the difference of 5 guardians now having a fake death, leaving only 1 alive. Although each guardian saved will revive, then allowing them to help save the rest. This is why having unique ghost shells and appearance will come in handy during this encounter. Now what do the outside players do who are not teleported? Well, their job is a little harder, but they are essentially doing the exact same thing as those inside. combining two 2D shapes to create the 3D shape that does not contain the shape on that Guardian statue. I recommend 2 players should be on add clear, and only one do the mechanic to avoid mix-ups and wipes. Let's first look at the 6 possible 3D shape combinations you could see in this encounter on the outside. We have a sphere, which is a circle plus a circle, a cube, a square and a square, a pyramid, which is a triangle and triangle, a cone, a circle plus a triangle, a cylinder, a circle plus square, and a prism, a triangle plus a square. When the 3 inside players are teleported, take a look at the 3 Guardian statues up front, left, middle and right, and see that they have 3D shapes instead of the 2D shapes we saw inside. These are currently random combinations of 2 2D shapes, and have to be dissected to swap out those shapes in order to create the 3D shape, containing the correct 2D shapes opposite to the inside Guardian statue's shape. This is why we need one of the inside players to call out what those statues are holding, as we can't see them outside. Hopefully you can see that this is just like what the inside players are doing, each making their own 3D shape containing the 2 other shapes their statue doesn't have, except you're doing it for all 3 statues on the outside. On the inside, players kill knights for shapes, and the outside is done in the same way. Here there are 3 knights, left, middle and right, each dropping a 2D shape. To swap shapes out, you need to pick up a 2D shape from a knight and interact and dissect a statue whose 3D shape currently contains that 2D shape. If you pick up a circle, and the statue is holding a sphere, which has 2 circles in it, you need to interact with it, which will pull out that circle and put it in limbo, so to speak, like an inventory. Then, killing another knight and picking up and dunking that second shape on another statue that contains the shape you just picked up, will pull that shape out and swap it automatically with the first. So let's say it is from left to right, triangle, square and circle on the inside. Then the outside needs to have a cylinder, square and circle, a cone, triangle and circle, and a prism, triangle and square from left to right. This process is rather intuitive, and there isn't really any way to explain a set of steps. So instead, we will look at an example before I talk you through some footage of me doing it and what I was thinking during it. In this drawn example, we see that the inside players called out that the statues have square, triangle and circle from left to right. But on the outside, we see the 3D shapes, pyramid, cube and sphere. I like to think of it not as what shape do I need to make, but rather what shape doesn't need to be there. So we kill knights and find, say, a circle. Well, I know that the right statue is a circle on the inside, so it doesn't need a single circle there on the outside. But a sphere has 2 of them, so I'll dissect one circle out of it and pick up a new shape. Let's say we pick up a square next. Well, we know that a cube has 2 squares in it, and we know that we don't need 2 of the same shape, as we always want 2 different shapes that are combined. So I'll dissect this cube. Now those shapes have swapped, so a square has gone to the right statue, combining with the other circle that was in that sphere, and that makes it into a cylinder. And the middle now has a square and a circle, making it a cylinder also. My next step would be thinking about that right statue still needing one more circle removed. I know it has a square in it already, and if it's a circle inside, then the outside needs to be square and triangle. So I'll kill a knight, find a triangle, pick it up, and dissect from a statue containing a triangle. In this case, it's on the left, from that pyramid. I will also kill knights again to find a second circle, so I can dissect the circle out of the right statue again. Now those two shapes have swapped, and the left statue has a triangle and a circle, making a cone, and the right has a triangle and square, making it a prism. This way we are done in just 2 swaps, without the headache of figuring out what 3D shapes you need, but just dissecting out what you know shouldn't be there. A cone doesn't contain a square, so we are good there. A cylinder doesn't contain a triangle, and a prism doesn't contain a circle, so we're all done. Now the inside players are free to exit once they've also created the same 3D shapes in their own individual side, according to their own statue. Then the 5-man wipe mechanic will start, and you'll do this 2 more times, for a total of 3 phases. Here is a video example of what I explained in that drawn example. Thank you all for watching. I really hope this helped and made sense. It took a long time to figure all of this out initially, and it took a long time to put all of this together. I want to say a big thanks to Froggy and Dastan for the help. And if any questions remain, be sure to comment them below and I'll try to get back to you with an answer. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one.